Hey Tea Club members, welcome back. This month I'm just gonna run through this really fast. So let's see what we come up with. We're gonna taste our Nimbus coin. First thing I'd like to note about these Nimbus coins is, man, they are thick. It feels like a little Oreo cookie of sorts. So they say thicker than a Snicker. This is easily a good 8 grams of tea. I already have my vessel warmed up here. It was already set to go. But first glance at these leaves, it doesn't seem like it's firmly pressed. It's nice, loose pressing, big, thick leaves. Good smell, nice stone fruity, kind of apricot-y smell, typical of this varietal. And this is an old tree, but young, right? So it's old tree, easily 500 plus years old, this tree. And probably not a tree, probably from a patch, right? A patch of trees. However, this is a younger coin, probably no older than 3 to 5 years. At any rate, I'm using angry hot boiling water to rinse and warm the vessel. Now I'm using the water that's kind of cooled a little bit off that. So I'm about 205 off the original 212. And I want to let this sit for a minute because that tea is really densely pressed, right? And it might take a little bit to get that to bloom. So I'm going to let this initial rinse go upwards of 30 seconds to a minute, just about as long as I can banter here for, right? But no rush on this. Let's say that's enough, okay? And then take a peek in, gentle agitation, and I'm not gonna drink this anyway. This is just the first rinse. And what I'll do is I'll leave the lid on to contain as much as that temperature and moisture as possible, because that coin is still finely pressed, right? And wants to open a bit more. So I want to retain as much heat and moisture in that vessel as I can. In the meantime, beautiful clarity. Oh my goodness. Really nice. Very clean, very clear. Excellent nose. Of course, I don't drink this. I pour it off a little bit to my teacher, a little bit to my son, a little bit to my daughter. Yeah, that's what we like from young Sheng. You get this really floral, fruity, light. You really capture kind of the afternoon, springtime, mountainside flavor. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, when you guys go through these brewing parameters and take the time to appreciate all these little subtle notes along the way, that's what really makes the Kung Fu tea experience so spectacular. Otherwise, just tea bag, some sugar, honey, right? Just a sweet beverage, but we're using it here as an opportunity to engage the senses. And we want to improve with every step, right? Every steep better than the previous one. And just a little bit more attention, just a little bit more care to detail. And that would be the kung fu of it. And when you check in with the color, check in with the taste, check in with the smell, check in with the feeling, you check in with all these different parameters, becomes a gateway to the spirit. Anyway. And to that matter, I suppose Kraft macaroni and cheese could also do that too. 10,000 Dharma right? Okay. So now I'm catching the lid and the leaf itself. Wow, that is really sweet. If I can get this in close to the camera, you can see that it's bloomed just a little bit. Of course, I don't want to over steep or scald initially. We'll get this back up to temper just a little bit more. We'll say I'd like to brew this at about 200. right? Not angry, angry, but just kind of see what we can pull out of it. Okay, here we go. I don't want to over agitate, so I'm going to pour just around the rim. And it's nice because then that token kind of swirls the whirlpool, right? Let that sit just for a second, some gentle agitation, and I'll pour it right off. Distinct from that initial rinse where I wanted things to open and bloom, it's open now, ish. And so now I'm going to do flash steepings. But still, I want to retain the heat, so I'm going to keep it in this gaiwan here. All right, note on clarity, still clear. You're getting a little kind of cloudy particles, particulate, but that's common amongst these kind of minimally processed old teas. It's just kind of the fur and fuzz off the leaves. Common amongst younger teas, common amongst greener varieties. This is a raw pu'erh, so it's quite green. And I must say that specific to those varieties, the flavor and the aromatics and, shall I say, the chi of it, the energetics of it, tend to be very ascending, right? They're very aromatic, they fill the nose, they kind of lift the spirit. Whereas a lot of the older brews, a lot of the aged brews, a lot of the darker, richer brews tend to descend and sink and anchor, right? I say all that to say this. For being a young green Sheng, this sinks really, really well. And for just being the first steep, my goodness. Typically I'd share this and enjoy it, but let's go through a few rounds here. I'll get this back up to 200 again, see where it's at. I like to go hot, but not too hot. That way there's still room, you know, because it's kind of like salt. You can always add more. It's kind of like temperature. You can always go hotter. But once you go too hot, you can damage and scald the leaves. And so it's nice to go progressive, especially it's my first time brewing. I'm not quite familiar with this tea yet. So we'll see what we get. Oh, went a little too hot. Scratch everything I just said. Oh, that smells good. Okay, here we go. Flash steep. Because it's so hot. Okay, straight to it. 206. A little hotter than I'd like it to be. But wow, look at this. Yeah, them leaves have completely opened now. I'm going to keep this heat for a little longer. I'll show you before the next steep, but it is now completely bloomed. That coin has expanded. If you've ever seen these kind of tea blossoms, how they open up, that's what we got going on right now inside here. Clarity's still there. Still get that little particulate. Again, that's common amongst these lower processed varieties. Still very light, kind of golden hue. Very translucent. Not much nose on the liqueur. And a really subtle flavor profile. But boy, that's nice. Oh, and then there's the sinking too. See, the fun part of drinking these warm fluids is to follow. You know, it doesn't just, it doesn't just drop into your stomach, right? there's still a degree of peristalsis, right? It's still working its way down. That's why you can swallow upside down, if you've ever tried. Right? 'Cause it's literally getting worked into your body as opposed to just kind of going down a pipe. But I say that to say this, because it's a hot fluid, you can feel that process. That's so nice. I don't want to waste it, so I'm gonna drink a little bit more of this second steep. We'll give it one more round. This time I'm gonna go the full 212. I'm gonna go angry hot because it's subtle, right? I think I can pull a little bit more out of it. So I'm just gonna go a little bit hotter and see what the third steep will be like. Now, I will say, because it's so light and subtle and still just opening, right, you can see that now, how that coin is just really spread apart. You can see all the dragon breath, all the steam coming off too. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's so good. All right, angry boiling water, straight into the gaiwan, around the rim so as not to over agitate the leaves. There goes my lid. 3, 2, 1, flash steeping. Pour it off straight into the decanter. All right, now we're getting color now. Okay, this is good stuff. Okay, this now I don't know if you're catching color on this. Very, very rich amber, darker. Still not that much nose on the liqueur. Maybe going a little hotter is going to be the way forward for this. Okay. Yeah, so I'm glad I made the choice to stay lower. This tea, now that I've gone hot, it's released a bit of an astringent, though light, and I think it's because I started a few rounds already at a lighter temperature to kind of give that chance to brew out. But now that I've gone third steep, full angry boiling water, there's an astringency to it. But yeah, it brings out the flavor more. There's way more depth. Yeah. Okay. And then there's the chi, right? Remember I spoke to it descending earlier. Now it's really resonating in the heart. So yeah, this is what I would expect from a Sheng. Wow, what a journey. Goes from light and descending to now full and astringent and opening. More heart-based now, very warming. It was a cold spring day today. I wore my sweater. But oh, that's so nice. Okay. I'll do one more. It's very common among tea. And tea time, you get caught into the last steep loop. Right? Oh, just one more cup. Well, actually, we might be saved. Haha, I don't have any water. So, what I will say, you're going to want to use a gaiwan for this because the temperature doesn't need to be so hot. We don't need to retain the heat so heavy, so we don't need the thick clay and all the mineral-rich clay to hold on to the temperature so much. So this kind of lighter porcelain will do just fine. And also, because this is a young Sheng, if you have a dedicated pot, that's fine. Otherwise, porcelain or glass is going to be the way forward. Just because there's so many tannins and oils, and I'm smelling them as I'm talking about it. Wow, that's so nice. And so these teas have a potential to stain your vessel, not so much in color, but in fragrance. And so by using porcelain or glass, it's non-porous, and you just wipe right out with some hot water, a little bit of salt water, maybe lemon or vinegar, if something gets too harsh. But otherwise, tea practice, don't use soap. Soaps tend to leave like residues, especially a lot of these newer petroleum-based soaps. There's a film that gets left over, and especially if you're using fine wares, if that film starts to build up in the pores of your pot, or if you taste it, and when you boil hot water, you really taste all the chemicals in it. Don't use soap. Okay, angry boiling water. I can listen for the boiling water. I don't have a beep anymore. It's just, I can hear what it sounds like. All right, that coin has completely opened up. Give it some gentle agitation and straight to the decanter. My teacher would actually be quite mad at me with the way I just poured that off. It's likened to the Summer Olympics and diving, right? And when the diver goes in, you want it to have no splash. Like, good diver, right? Versus a belly flop, big splash, oh, bad diver, right? So consider when you decant, ideally, you catch the fluid in minimal splash. Please don't rewind the video to see how badly I just did. All right, great color. Still no smell on the liqueur, that's fine. You get great smell on the cup and the vessels when you're done. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's really, really nice. All these leaves are open now. There we go. 4th steep cleanup hitter. Yeah, those leaves are open. That brew is full. I'm going full temperature now. From here, I'd say I could brew another 3 to 5 times. And at that point, all that astringent note will have passed out. And I can't go any hotter than 212. I'm at full angry now, but I could steep longer, right? Because right now it's just gentle agitation and straight pour. I could let it sit longer, and at some point, the same water I pour in will be the same water I pour out, and that will be considered the end of my ritual. In the conversation of hydration, a lot of the nutrition and nourishment and caffeine, if you will, energetics of the tea happen in the beginning. It's also very diuretic in that time, so it makes you pee a lot. However, when you get past that phase and you continue to drink, continue to drink, continue to steep, now we're in the conversation of hydration, right? And each time when we pay more attention to the flavor and we discern more and more subtle notes, the idea is, yeah, it's the same water, but when I finish a ritual, maybe I can taste something that I didn't taste before. Right? And that's the kind of practice of cleansing the palate, as I received from Master Wong. That's so nice. Okay, I'm going to drink this now. No more wasting. All right, guys, that's it. 20 minutes. We did it. I did a freestyle. Usually I drink these a few times. I get like 5 or 6 rounds in and then do a take and really get to know the tea. But considering circumstance, I'm releasing this tomorrow. So I'm going to cut it up and put it straight into the newsletter. All right, guys, enjoy yourselves.